business, and I've got one too. You can't mind your business. What's the matter with you?
Welcome to the Brand Shorthand Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Vandegrift, and with me today is a seaworthy pirate of positioning, Lorraine Kessler. Welcome, Lorraine.
Hello, thank you. Hi.
We also welcome one of our creative directors, Cheryl Henderson. Welcome, Cheryl.
Ahoy!
All right, love it. Before we get started, allow me to introduce Cheryl to everyone. She's a fascinating human being, and I think one that our listeners will fall in love with in about a hot second. So Cheryl's been with us for over 20 years and worked her way up from entry-level graphic designer to now she is one of our creative directors. She is a stage 4 cancer survivor, a crazy cat lady, a Broadway enthusiast. In fact, we have that in common because whenever anyone ever gives us 2 words of a lyric, we break into song.
And jazz hands.
And jazz hands. And she is a Disney fanatic. Like, if you need tips and tricks for Disney, just go to Cheryl.
I've got Mickey on today.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Turn them around.
How cool.
And she's a retired, she's too young to be retired. She's a retired cookie artist who appeared on 2 of Food Network's shows, the Christmas Cookie Challenge, and I think that was just before COVID, right? In 2019?
Correct.
And then the Halloween Cookie Challenge, and I think that was a reappearance since you were so popular on the first show. They asked you to come back. And that was 2022, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, basically, she's our local celebrity. Lorraine, you've worked with Cheryl as much as I have. So tell us one of your favorite memories of Cheryl during you can go back the last 20 years. I know Cheryl doesn't look like she could have worked here for 20 years.
No. Well, I think Cheryl, she's our Contessa of culture, right, Mark?
Ooh,
Would you
nice.
agree with that?
That's a nice title, Contessa of
culture.
I'll take it.
I mean, the campaigns that Cheryl has done in our agency for Arts and Stark and United Way, they're legendary. Legendary for fun and raising money and getting everybody on board with supporting the community. So no small feat. Unbelievable energy in that. And she's one of the rare people that you ever meet that the minute you spend time with her, you just want to be a better person. And as someone from New Jersey and sometimes known as Acid Rain Lorraine, that's very much needed. But I think one of my favorite campaigns that you did, Cheryl, really was the Open Doors to announce the acceptance of all insurances by the Altman Health System in our community. And that was a very complicated change for the system, but you made the campaign so easily understood and so simple for the consumers, as well as catchy. So,
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Cheryl, tell us something about you that very few people would ever guess if they were playing that game. I think it's called the personal facts guessing game. You know, the one where you write something down about yourself, they draw out a slip of paper, and someone says, okay, guess who that is. Give us like this little known fact about you.
Okay, I think I could probably stump some people because most people are surprised that I absolutely love a good disaster flick. I mean, like the more death and destruction.
Really?
Yes. Give me the weather events, the shuttle disasters, the giant sharks, the crocodiles, all of it. And I even love the low budget terrible ones like Sharknado. Like they're so bad that they're hysterical, and I absolutely love them.
So are you going to be like the Thursday before the Friday that Twister comes out? Are you going to see it?
Well, I can't stay up that late, so it'll probably be on opening day. I went to a midnight movie once and I regretted it.
So that's another fact about you. You go to bed early.
I am not a night owl.
Oh my gosh, I am knocked over because we could have shared. I tend to binge on like airplane. There's May Day videos on YouTube about plane crashes and ship disasters, and I'm like totally into that. I'm
Wow.
shocked. I'm shocked. I couldn't be more shocked if I told you that I watched the Hallmark channel, which I don't.
Oh no. We know that's not true. There's no way. You couldn't make it through 10 minutes of a Hallmark show, Lorraine.
No, no. And my
Now I know
sister
you're
is addicted to
gaslighting
it,
me.
so she'll be here. I know. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go weave. I'm going to go rape the beach.
That's awesome. Well, for
Um,
those of our listeners who are not clients or clients who have not met you, Cheryl, tell us about your tenure at Innis Maggiore and just give us a few highlights.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit to give you a little bit of background of why being here is such a special thing for me. So I was homeschooled from 3rd grade on, before it was cool, by the way, you know. I went to college for my to get my elementary education degree with a minor in English. And a series of unfortunate events led me to leave that profession as quickly as I got into it. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I ended up going back to the manufacturing company where I worked during college, and they kind of slid me into the marketing department. And I just kind of fell into graphic design. I've always been artistic, but that's not what I went to school for. So I would never have in a million years have thought that I would be a creative director at an advertising agency, because everything I learned about graphic design was pretty much from the school of hard knocks, you know? So, and this is also why I daily have a serious bout of imposter syndrome because I technically shouldn't really be here, but here we are. So, a couple of years after I started, one of my pieces actually won Best of Show in our local Addy Awards. And I was just flabbergasted. Like, somebody must have made a mistake here. But that really gave me a little bit of validation that, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I'm on the right track. So that was kind of the boost that I needed to really, dig in and get to it here. And I learned so much from people here. And so I've gotten my paws on everything and anything you can imagine graphic design wise. But recently, it's been really heavy on social media content creation, which I really enjoy. A lot of video production, another of my things that's really close to my heart. And I've been doing a lot more writing lately. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a good 20 years.
Good. And you trademarked a term recently in relation to social marketing.
I did. I call them the Sochmeads because everything needs a good abbreviation.
That's right. And for those who want to know how to spell that, SOSH and then capital MEDES with a trademark symbol.
Yeah.
So Sochmeads, we'll put it on the screen. We'll make sure everybody knows they cannot touch Cheryl's trademark term.
That's right.
No. Awesome.
Well, Cheryl, the reason we invited you onto the Brand Shorthand podcast today is that you recently wrote a blog for us in our Positionist View, and you've done that before, but this one kind of hit a tone and a topic that we're on right now, and that's a few brands that we see getting it right, such as Dr. Pepper, by the way, who we talked about last week, supplanting Pepsi as the number 2 most favorite and most popular soft drink, and a few more that we'll discuss today. So tell us the name of the brand you had in the focus of your blog post and how you discovered the brand in the first place, because I had not heard of it.
Yeah, it was a really fluke sort of thing. We all get those emails from LinkedIn with job recommendations. Hey, you're a high skills match for this. And I just happened to see at the very top of the list was for a company called Pirate Ship. And of course, ding, my ears perk up a little bit. But the job title was for Vice President of People, which made me laugh because that's not really a formal job title.
Right.
So that, again, piqued my interest a little bit. But then I saw that their logo was a Jolly Roger pirate flag. So I was like, okay, there's something going on here that I need to explore.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad you didn't take the job or
Yeah.
apply.
Yes. I was not a high skills match because it was for human resources.
You already said that the name pirate ship caught your attention, and understanding your interest in disasters, I kind of get that. But what was really caught your attention about the company and what it does and what it stood for?
When I clicked through to read the job description, internally they call it Vice Pirate of People. And as I started reading down the page, they are just freewheeling with the pirate lingo. I mean, as much as you can imagine, every pirate thing that you can imagine a pirate saying, they were saying it on this page. And this is
Mhm.
something that's near and dear to my creative writer heart because I live and die by a theme. And if I can
Yeah.
take a theme to the nines, it's going there, believe me. And these people did that. But what further captured me was that they were spending just as much time talking about how important it is for the people they hire and their employees to have fun as they were talking about the qualifications for the job. And who does that on LinkedIn? Normally it's like, we are a business, we must not have fun. Well, this was not the case here. And it was just a delightful read. This job posting, I've never read anything like it. It was just a pure delight to read it.
So what do they do, and what's their position? What are they trying to do in the market or own in the mind?
Okay, so it starts with the name itself, pirate ship.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
only are we referencing an actual pirate ship, but they all are a band of pirates who ship things. Pirate ship. I mean, the more I read about these people, the more I was just like, these are my people. Like, they get it. So their position is they are the people who make shipping fun.
Mhm.
And they,
Oh.
yeah, it is just, I mean, if I ever had a brand crush on anybody, it's on Pirate Ship. So the owners who started this, the founders, they were pioneers in the shipping box boom of the 2010s. Not shipping box, subscription box.
Okay.
They were pioneers of that. So you find a thing that you like and they curate a box of things and they'll send it to you every month. So they pioneered this concept. And they actually show a picture of a desk with one of those little label printers that prints off in the continuous sheet, label after label. And it is a pile that goes from the floor up to the bottom of the desk. And there's all their subscription boxes behind it. And it's just, it gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
And that is the opposite of fun.
Yeah.
And so they lived it and they said, this is a bunch of baloney. What can we do about this? So they decided to pioneer this software that made that whole process easier. And they specifically target small businesses. They're not going after the big, mega corporation shippers. They're going after the mom and pop people who are just trying to get their stuff to the people who want it. So that's what they decided to do. And they developed this software. And I'm sure in that doldrum of purchasing and arranging shipping for your products, this is a welcome change. I mean, who wouldn't want to have fun while you're doing this dull thing that needs to happen in order for you to make money? So that's definitely what sets them apart from their competition, because I don't think any other shipping service that I've ever seen is about fun like this.
Yeah.
Well, and they back
Okay,
that up
so
with
it's
efficiency then, right?
right. Well, there's a business word for you, Mark.
Yeah.
Efficiency.
I know you love
Yeah.
that.
That word. Here's fun. You just killed it.
You are a fun killer.
I'm not a fun
Oh
killer.
my God.
I am saying it's the logical word behind the fun word.
No,
You
and
got to
I'm just
have
saying,
both sides of the brain here. That's why we're on this podcast.
and
Why we
say
make
I
a good
accountant,
team, right?
accountant,
Because I'm the fun
accountants.
squad and you're the fun
Yeah.
killer. No, I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what Cheryl meant to say when she said they have so much fun because they're so efficient.
Yeah.
Mhm.
my
No, but
gosh.
Oh, that's great.
I think what's interesting is they're waking up a category with a service, and here's some great positioning points, right? They have a very focused target audience for whom this process has been a huge encumbrance, not fun, tedious, difficult, all that. And yet it reflects on their business so much if things aren't shipped out properly and on the right time and to the right person. And they took something that is pretty much banal and made it interesting and fun and light. So it fits that target audience just perfect. And they, like you said, take it to the nines with the theme. So it's not something every company can do, but I applaud the creativity, and it certainly is working because they have a lot of good things lined up with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The
In
name
your
is fun too.
article, yeah, in your article, you called out the brand style guide, which was interesting because, like,
Mhm.
we never call out brand style guides. And mostly because we see brands who don't maybe use them correctly, right? They
Mhm.
exist, but they don't know how to deploy them. So using Pirate Ship's guide as an example, what do you find makes for a brand style guide that provides you guidance as a creative, like the right balance?
Mm-hmm. Right. The right balance is a hard one to find.
Yeah.
You need more than one sheet that shows the logos and the fonts and the colors, but you need less than the designery noise where people just want to show you how much they know and how artsy they are. Uh,
Mhm.
there have been some incredibly laughable, pretentious explanations in some brand guides I've seen where I could not roll my R's, my R's.
Yours. That was a Freudian
The
slip.
pirate ship.
I'm really getting into the theme here. I could not roll my eyes hard enough because it was so absurd. Like nobody needs this stupid artsy explanation. Nobody cares. So
Yeah.
we need to find the middle ground with that. So Pirate Ship didn't just talk about their brand, but that brand guide was the brand. I mean, from the
Mhm.
cover all the way through, it showed all the imagery, the pirate ship imagery juxtaposed with shipping labels and shipping boxes. Like, who would think of putting these things together? But they weave them together so seamlessly. They have a custom font called Arial, and they have their own they have their own set of pirate armojis. I mean, it's just I can't even. I cannot even with these people because it's all just so great. And their CEO has a picture of himself as a pirate. I mean, it's just they don't take themselves too seriously. They are
Right.
Yeah.
living the position of fun while getting the job done. Like you said, Mark, we have to
Yeah.
be able to not just have fun, we have to be able to do the thing, but do it with panache and style.
Yeah.
Right.
Good. Well, you didn't work on Pirate Ship, but you regularly execute on our client work, right? And
Yes.
as a creative, do you find that positioning makes it harder to execute, with perhaps handcuffs, or that it frees you up to be more creative?
Well, a lot of stereotypical artists they balk at being directed like, oh, they've got all the answers and don't mess with my art. I've never been like that, maybe because I didn't go to art school. But uh, the opposite side of that is it's paralyzing to not have any direction at all. When the world is your oyster, to continue the seafaring theme, it's almost too much freedom and you just like I don't even know what to do or where to go. So I feel like positioning gives you that guideline that it's almost like I'm a dog owner. So people that have invisible fences, you need that to contain them. They still have freedom to run around and play in there, but you're reined in enough to know what you need to do and to do it well. You can still be creative, but you can still be on topic. Because if you don't have the strategy right, we're wasting everybody's time here. Like, what are
Yeah.
we even doing?
Mhm.
So I feel like positioning just gives you that little bit of leeway that you need, but also the guidance that you need.
Very cool. Well, we're going to move on to a different brand, not one you wrote about, Cheryl, but we should be able to have fun with this one too. And
Oh yeah.
that one is called GymShark. That's
Hmm.
not JIM, that's GYM, as in a place that I never go to. It's called GymShark. Lorraine, you brought this brand to the table as an example of doing positioning right.
Right.
What caught your attention about the brand?
Well, first of all, the idea of GymShark, which I had not heard of, came
Mhm.
to us from Doug Burton, who's a very good friend of the agency, a marketing consultant, and ever vigilant in his study of positioning and brands that are doing it right. And so he sent several links about this GymShark, and GymShark is a unicorn brand. And for those listeners who don't know what a unicorn brand is, it's a brand that reaches $1 billion in sales in 10 years or less. So I have never heard of this brand. I don't know if you've heard of this brand. I don't know if our listeners have. But apparently it's a UK brand, and they did reach unicorn status. And what they do is they make fitness apparel and accessories, um, and they really sell very well online. This particular line of product. They're a manufacturer as well as an online seller. So they're making the product and they're selling it. Now, the interestingly, the founder of this company and now CEO is a guy named Ben Francis, two first names, um, who started the company, and now it's worth 1.5 billion. And he started the company at 19 while making £5 an hour at a Pizza Hut in England, which is $6.31. So what were
Wow.
you doing at age 19, Mark and Cheryl?
I was in school.
Slackers. What were you
I
doing, Cheryl?
I was in college for elementary education, probably making Valentines in my art class.
Yeah. I was in college learning the art of drinking and working at the same time, keeping the balance, as Cheryl says, and no disasters. Um, but yeah, I mean, 19 to have this. So the brand focus of this particular GymShark brand of apparel and fitness accessories, ACA the position, is athletic wear for men and women, is both fashionable, which is table stakes in anything fitness. Because if you're going to go to a gym, like that's why I don't go to a gym, because you got to worry about what you're wearing, right? And I'd rather just go down my steps. But you have to wear it. You have to look fashionable. But it's the blend of fashion and high performance. So their difference, the real differential, I think, is the high performance. So let's just put it together. It's fashionable, high performance gym wear. So GymShark is a perfect name because
Mhm.
it informs the audience, just like, pirate ship. It informs the audience in terms of someone who's really serious about working out and appreciates the gym and goes there and wants to be seen, I think, as well as work out.
Mhm.
And then the benefits of high performance, Mark, we we
Yeah.
love the idea of a high performance brand. A high performance can apply to cars, a high performance car, high performance boat like Mastercraft, high performance turf like our client, high
Purple.
performance fabric, right? And the beauty of saying something's high performance relative to its category is the customer immediately knows the benefits that means to them, right? So for
Yep.
anybody who's working out, it might be that it sheds water better or sweat better, right? It's comfortable to wear. It may even help my posture. It might help me work out in the longer. It might help me um, get better form as I'm doing things. So there is a connection, believe it or not, to that. So I think the name is great. High performance is great because the other point of high performance is it's an immediate credential, right? It signals higher value and it's a credential for a higher price. And ultimately, one of the main goals of branding is not just to sell more, it's to be able to charge more for what you do. Otherwise, don't sell, just put stuff on the aisle, end caps, and hope it sells. So I think that's really great. Now, it's a really crowded category, and we can talk about that in just a minute. But do you guys have any brands that you know of that really camp out on this high performance kind of position?
The category of things that I am willing to pay a higher price for performance is hair products. Because this curly mane of mine is hard to tame. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to go to the drugstore for that. I'm going to fork out the extra cash because it needs all the help it can get.
Yeah, I go there in building products. So when I flip a house or do a renovation or something like that, whether it's the tools I'm using or the products I'm using, I just know that anything that is high performance or a grade above. So like Provia, Lorraine, you remember when we gave them, they were
Yeah.
professional grade, which is kind of a
Right.
statement
High
on performance.
performance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's above what we call contractor grade, which we all know is cheap and lasts not very long. And so
Right.
I prefer, if I'm going to work on something and install something, that I don't have to think about it again for maybe a lifetime. That would be my preference.
Yeah.
So high
Yeah.
performance.
High performance and quality link, right?
Yep.
And the benefits can be different depending on the product and the
Yep.
category, what you're doing. But you're buying quality products, Cheryl, because you know they're going to work. There's a reliability factor and all that. So it's a great way to position, I think. And it's also, it's fairly new, and this was a startup category. And they went from insurgent to a leader. How did they do that? So I'll talk a little bit about what I saw that they did. Well, they I guess the best thing is to talk about what Ben Francis, the CEO, said. He said, in addition to the naming and the position, which link so beautifully together, which clearly they had a strategic idea, and they saw a hole in the market. Not a lot of people doing this, but how they executed is really key, because you can have the best strategy in the world, and if you don't execute properly, we just talked about Pepsi. If you don't, it's not how much you spend, it's where you're spending and how you're spending, what you're saying when you spend. So if you have the right message, but you're not executing properly, so what, right? And vice versa, if you have a great execution, but you're not saying anything differentiated, that's weaker too. So Ben Francis said this: we're at a point where we're like, and he's trying to figure out why they're successful. Is it our user-generated content? Is it our product? Is it our social growth? Is it our e-commerce site? There's no silver bullet. And I hope every person listening to this who's a client hears that. There is no silver bullet. It's about bringing all of those things together. It's about driving traffic from all those different places, whether that be through influencer marketing on Facebook or Instagram into the website, whether that be using your own media to drive owned, meaning own, we own the media, we created it, to drive engagement on a social media strategy to build the brand and grow followers. Everything matters. Everything needs to work together. There is no silver bullet. And so in some, they had the right strategy with right execution and just persistent net execution over time. And you need both. And I would call this the rule of bothism. I do think there's a challenge for GymShark to hold this position. I just saw last week on the Today Show, they did a whole expose with a fitness person evaluating different gym or workout apparel from a performance standpoint. Like, how did it improve endurance? How did it improve posture, calories burned, wicking, comfort? And GymShark was not one of the brands. And it's just so ironic that I saw this right after I got this email from our friend Doug. So that's a brand alert, right? Like, they should have been on that show, and they weren't. So that tells me there are competitors, and nothing lasts forever. So they got here. How do they stay here? What would you recommend, Cheryl and Mark?
Well, I would say, like you said, there are lots of athleisure and sportswear products on the market. I mean, you can go into any store and find their own house brand of it. It's probably a lot cheaper. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but Gymshark has that elevation, that aspirational aspect to it that, oh, if I want to be cool, I need to wear that. They just need to keep that top of mind familiarity and
Yeah.
awareness. And they need to be the first one somebody thinks of, kind of like how you think of Starbucks when you think of coffee. It just needs to be that automatic. So they just need to keep that and
Yeah.
associate that name with that high performance sportswear. And that's what I need to have if I want to be cool, and add that broad brand marketing to their social and digital closet.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
that's a good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, we were just talking yesterday. I was training some of our interns and our new associates on positioning. And it was funny because the topic of mugs came up, coolers. And I said, as an example, yes, exactly. And we came on the topic or the way to position of hotness.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so for example, Stanley. And they said, well, Stanley's not hot anymore. Now it's Owala. Like, I haven't even heard of that name yet.
Oh, wow.
And,
Yeah,
oh,
I
yeah,
have. They make. They're Hawaiian, right? Are they
I,
Hawaiian? And they make
I
flip
haven't even
flops.
had time to look it up.
Okay. Okay.
But that
Okay.
would be my warning to GymShark, right? Because how easy is it? If you can change your drinkware, you're going to change what you wear to the gym. So I think name awareness connected to the positioning ideas is pretty critical. They
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
stay away from just being hot. And I understand they don't have patents or anything like that, but you could lose market share overnight just like that. And it wouldn't be hard for somebody else with some sense of style and an understanding of the market and the need for that high performance to just come in and scoop in just because they're the next thing, right? We have this society right now that just wants to switch things out right and left, and they'll do it at the drop of a hat, especially if it saves them $2.33.
I did look at their social media, and they have, I don't know, was it like 7 million followers? And their posts get hundreds of thousands of likes. So they've got it going on. And
Yeah.
like you said, they just need to worry about keeping it. But it
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
like they've built that loyal following, and they just need to hang on to them.
Yeah. I would advertise 7 million people can't be wrong, right? Gymshark, the best, high performance athletic wear or something like that. I mean, that's a credential. And they really need to capitalize on that. And PR can help with that, but other branding techniques, just pure advertising, right? And
Well,
keep
and
that
they've
cash
picked
in.
an audience, right? Why did none
Yeah.
of us hear about it? Because we don't go to the gym. But they
Yeah,
picked
but
gym
it's weird.
rats
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
went after the gym people. And if you work out at a gym, you probably know them real well.
Right.
I bet Justin probably has heard of them.
Probably.
Justin's our resident bodybuilder, and we have some other guys go to the gym, but Justin's number one with that. And it would be interesting to even ask him, Justin, have you heard of these guys, and what do you think? Because
Well, that's a
it's
challenge for
so focused.
that's a good challenge for those who are listening and viewing. If you know someone
Yeah.
who's an avid gym goer and really like Uber, do they know this brand? But just like Apple, what you do is you aim at your core, but you realize other people are listening. So other people are listening, and those people could be me, who buys this kind of apparel for my husband, who goes to the gym all the time, and I haven't heard of it. So, make sure that's where branding comes in, because branding is broadcast. They've been narrowcasted. So it's now time, I think, and that's what Cheryl was saying, is to broadcast. And I think your point, Mark, is make sure the name and the position are hooked together. So if you say the position, you say the name. Say the name, people can say the position.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. Cheryl, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And Lorraine, of course, always thank you for co-hosting with me here. And
Yep.
we appreciate all those that have joined us today. And if you haven't liked, shared, subscribed. Did I do that right, Cheryl? It's hard to take
Save
shared
effort.
and make it shared.
Arr, arr.
Again, if you haven't liked, shared, subscribed, or told your friends about the Brand Shorthand podcast, we really appreciate if you would. And until next time, have an amazing day.
Business but my own.